Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the 29th Sunday in Ordinary Time. I hope you're having a blessed day today, the day of the Lord. It's so nice to be with you and also to celebrate Mass with you. I think it's so important for us in this time as we are in COVID-19 during this pandemic to remember things that are very important, to keep safe, but also to make sure that you come to Mass if you are able to come. Just like you're able to shop or buy groceries or do errands, I think it's very important to make sure that you come to Mass. It's lovely to see the parents at the Mass for children during the week. So make sure you bring your children to Mass on Sunday, because that's also very important. In fact, it's the Lord's Day, so it holds really a high degree of importance for us. It is the commandment to keep holy the Sabbath. And we need to do that as Christians, as Catholics, to keep holy the Sabbath, to attend Mass, to receive the sacraments, to pray, and to rest. So I hope you're able to keep the Sabbath. If you are watching virtually at home, I hope that you're very much attuned to the celebration of Mass, which means that you're dressed, you don't have any beverages next to you, you have lit candles, you may have a prayer table, a Blessed Mother statue or image, holy water around, and then begin to encounter within the Mass. See, we have to make sure that we're not watching Mass as if it's a television show, that we're encountering Christ and that we're at prayer. That is very important. So please, no snacks, no food, no drink. Please try to be dressed. Please try to light candles. You know, we have those beautiful candles in church you can get. They're big. They last for about a week, so you'll have them for a while. They're a $5 donation. So if you don't have them, but they're there in church, so please pick them up. Also, to have a prayer table, maybe a little basket with intentions. See, watching Mass virtually is not watching a show on television. And you can't go to the kitchen and get a snack. You can't refill your beverage. If this is your time of prayer to keep holy the Sabbath, you need to act as if you were in church. Do you have holy water? All these things I'm just bringing up to your attention if you are viewing Mass virtually. But I hope that you come back. I still have one more Mass to open publicly. And I want to open it. The 10:30 Mass is still prayed privately. The 4 o'clock Saturday, the 7:30, the 9, and the 12 noon are all open publicly. The 10:30 Mass is prayed, absolutely, but prayed privately. So I want to open the 10:30. Would you help me by coming to Mass on the weekend here at St. Mary's so I could open that last Mass? And that would be wonderful. Okay? The only way that I know that is that if you start coming to all the other Masses, and then I'll say, oh, they're coming back. Let me open up the 10:30. See, that's how I know, because we take a count. And I'll say, oh, they're opened, they're at these Masses, and I want to open up the next one, okay? Okay, great. Well, how about that gospel today? Render to Caesar what is Caesar. Render to God what is God's. Very important. You know, in this whole political discussion and really sometimes argumentative discussions with these candidates that they argue with each other and all of that we're watching, that causes us a little bit of anxiety, I think. We have to remember to render to God what is God's. And to render to the political sphere or Caesar what is Caesar only if it is for the common good and does not conflict with what is God's. Now, that's very important to understand and to live. Because I need to render what is God's. So I'm a citizen of heaven by virtue of my baptism. And I'm a citizen of the United States by the virtue of my birth here in this world, in this country. I have to make sure that what I believe in my citizenship in heaven, because of my baptism and confirmation and the food of the Eucharist, that what I do in this world is not in conflict with my citizenship in heaven. I don't want to forfeit my citizenship in heaven. I want to make sure that I render to God what is God's. And I want to render to Caesar or to the United States what is for the promotion of the common good. That is never in conflict with my faith. So this gospel is very pertinent for today to reflect. What do I believe? In fact, it's really not a personal belief. I belong to Christ. I should say, what does Christ state? What is the belief of Christ? It's not, I belong to Him. What does He say about life? In all of its stages, from womb to tomb, and every stage in between. What does Christ say about marriage? What does Christ say about immigration? What does Christ say about welcoming the stranger? What does Christ say about healthcare? What does Christ say about the dignity of the human person? What does Christ say about the care of the human person when they're sick? I have to ask myself those questions. That I'm in conformity to give God what is God's and to give Caesar or USA what is USA. All for the common good. But they cannot be in conflict. In other words, what I render to Caesar can never, ever impede, take away, darken what belongs to God. Now, I've told you this before. It's a no-brainer for me. I hope it's a no-brainer for you. Let's put away the personalities of candidates. Everyone is different. Your personality is different than your wife's. Your personality is different than your husband. Your personality is different than your mom and your dad's. Your personality is different than mine, and mine is different than yours. let's look at the issues. Let's look at what the issues are. I sent a flock note to you on behalf of the Pennsylvania Catholic Conference. I hope you got that, about these issues that are really crucial. They're Christ-based. They're based upon our faith. I think every issue is. They're not political issues. They're based upon our faith. And you'll look at that and know where they stand, the candidates. Where the candidates stand. So you'll know where you are able to make a informed decision to vote. I think we all have to have a formed conscience. The Catholic Church and the bishops of the United States say all priests must form and be able to form the consciences of believers. So I hope I help you. I hope I'm helping you form your conscience. In other words, what do we believe? What does Christ say in the Gospels? How is this articulated in the church? Well, I hope me, Deacon Don, Father Keen, and Deacon Jonathan is doing that. I hope we're forming your conscience to make good moral decisions based on gospel values. At least that's our intention. So that's the forming the conscience. That's what the bishops of the United States says. The bishops of the United States says no priest, no deacon is to say, vote for, don't vote for. They tell us, the bishops, no. You could give them where these candidates stand, maybe on a leaflet or in a flock note, like which we do. So we try to follow exactly what we're doing. So what we're doing is in conformity to the bishops of the United States of America. So, okay, I just want to tell you that. And then the homilist, they're deacons and priests, homilist. We try to form consciences. We try to take the gospel of Jesus Christ and to allow all of us, both deacon, priest, and laymen and laywomen and children, to understand the gospel in today's world. So how does the gospel apply in today's world? Or is the gospel some antiquated manuscript of yesteryear? Well, for us who believe, it is not an ancient manuscript of yesteryear. It's the way to live today, because the scriptures pass through time and space, and we encounter the risen Christ among us. So it's very important, I think, for all of us to understand that the priests and deacons and bishops of the church have a responsibility to form consciences of the baptized, and to allow the baptized men and women, after having their conscience formed by the gospel of Jesus Christ, rooted in prayer and sustained by the food of the Eucharist, make a decision on what candidate would be best to promote gospel values. And that's how it happens. It doesn't happen on a Sunday morning where the priest or the deacon says, vote for. You're not going to get it. Sorry. You're not going to get that. What you are going to get is the priest or deacon talking about the gospel, talking about how that gospel has to be incorporated into our daily life. In every decision, even voting, but in every decision, talking to children, talking to my teenagers, talking to my adult children, talking to my spouse, making a decision in life about my medical ethics. What's going to happen to me if I get sick? Talking about my death and burial. Talking about my clubs or organizations that I belong to. Do they promote gospel values? I don't know. You have to ask your club. What do they stand for? See, the priest and the deacon are to form consciences based on the gospel of Jesus Christ and the teachings of his church. There's only one church. That's what we do, everyone. That's what we try to do every day of our life as deacons, priests, and bishops. We try, first of all, to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ authentically. Secondly, to administer the sacraments in the person of Christ as head and shepherd. And 3, to care for the poor and the sick. So today, as we hear this gospel of render to Caesar what is Caesar's, but render to God what is God. More importantly, today we need to do that. Okay? We need to kick in our confirmation sacramental graces and do what we're called to do and live the gospel message and to promote all that is good, just, holy, and moral, because that's what Christ is calling us to. Have a nice Sunday.